Welcome back, everyone, to the post-Sportsfellas Super Bowl edition.
Yes. It's your national champion, Buckeye Believin', Captain Chris with a K.
And repping for the DMV for the burgundy and gold, and staying true to Tar Heel Blue, Mr. Brett.
It's your ring chasing, Sooner Nation. Still tomahawk chopping. We still got 3 rings, so you know it is what it is. Voyager is.
Well, you could have had 5, but we'll stick with 4. All right, and this is your host, Carlos, sitting down here. We're about to talk about the Super Bowl 59, where your Fly, Eagles, Fly, been crowned 2-time Super Bowl champions.
Need to get some of that Rocky music in the background.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna do quite a bit. We're going to have a lot of effects. We're going to have a lot of insights.
Pew, pew.
All right, before we dive in, let's go ahead and take a quick pause. Let's thank our following sponsors.
Hey guys, why don't you check out She Barber Cuts Barbershop and give Markeisha Brown, the licensed professional barber there, a call at 316-218-3566 for all your haircut needs. She's got cuts for kids, adults, and for those looking for the good one, the deluxe with beard trims, wash, and hot towels. So don't forget to give Markeisha a call at She Barber Cuts and see her at 2319 North Ridge, Barber Suite 6A, here in Wichita, Kansas.
Super Bowl 59 was held in New Orleans, where we had the NFC champions, the Philadelphia Eagles, trying to capture their second Super Bowl, going against the back-to-back champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. This was a great game. There was other things that was better, but we're going to go ahead and dive in. We're going to break it off here. Let's start off real brief. What did you think about the hype leading into the Super Bowl? I'm going to kick it off with you, Chris.
Well, I mean, I think really what we have to focus on is the kick of destiny between the Manning brothers. That was really the most important and, hardest fought battle.
Yeah, I was expecting a knockout, drag-out fight.
No, the hype was well worth it. I feel like just everything that we had on the table for both teams, it was worth the hype. Yeah, I agree.
The Super Bowl commercials. I was just looking forward to the Super Bowl commercials, the singing, and overall just the way it was building up to this moment. Now let's go ahead and kick off with the first half of the Super Bowl. I'm going to start this off with you, Brett. Brett, what were you seeing as the game was progressing? Let's start off with the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs had they deferred the ball, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And so when the Chiefs had first position going forward, what were you seeing?
Well, when I first saw the Chiefs, usually they kind of like to start slow, and then they'll slowly start picking up the pace, and as the game moved on. But when it started getting down, getting toward the end of the half, and the points start racking up, it was like, oh, good night. It started getting ugly in a hurry, but
Yeah, the one thing that I noticed there right at the beginning, when the Eagles had the ball their first drive, kind of the way I was anticipating, it started as a defensive battle. That's kind of been the Chiefs' MO this year, and all of a sudden we saw this a crazy offensive pass interference on A.J. Brown for barely touching somebody, but I know the announcers were kind of like, well, okay, so just thinking, well, here we go again. But it started off pretty defensive. I think they got the 3 points there on their second drive. Started taking a little 3-point lead after the Chiefs 3 and out. Was expecting the defensive battle. Was not expecting the O-line, which was one of my keys to the game, the Chiefs O-line, to look as bad as they did right off the bat. I mean, they were getting crushed.
Oh, first half was abysmal for the Chiefs, man. Listen, I put that entire blank. Like, Patrick Mahomes had a QB rating of like 10.9, which is ridiculous. Like, the highest rating you get is like 158 or 154. So a 10.9 can tell you a lot.
I think you get like a 50 if every pass hits the ground.
Yeah. So
which every pass didn't, unfortunately. For him.
So Patrick Mahomes had a terrible first half. Granted, our offensive line also had a terrible first half, but listen, all around offensively, it was just a disaster. Mahomes had happy feet. He couldn't stay still in the pocket, and I think that's truly he was too worried about running around and getting sacks that he didn't.
Well, he had some
The
big
technique.
dudes coming
I
after
agree,
him
but
hard
it's
and
one of those
fast.
situations where you have to stay calm, set your feet before every throw, and he was not doing that.
Or throw it away or do something different
or
with
something.
it.
But he wasn't playing like Mahomes. I think the pressure of that D-line was getting to him way too much than it should have.
It wasn't
So-
even a blitz. I mean,
Yeah.
overall,
no,
Yeah,
it
they
was
were just
four-man
rush-
rush the whole game.
But,
yeah,
but
yeah,
let's
rush
just
forward.
start off with, like I said, we're going to start off with Kansas City side. So when the way I was seeing it going, I mean, I saw there was a lot of, replays and, a lot of RPOs going on there. And they were kicking off right, but then somehow the adjustments started to happen really fast. Especially seeing Cooper, going out there doing his reads. It seemed like they were watching a lot of film, obviously.
Oh, sure.
And what Vic Fangio did was on that end, I was assuming that, Nagy and Coach Reed was going to kind of diverse these plays because, I mean, you have a lot of offensive firepower in Juju, in Hollywood, and then Xavier Worthy. You had all these players, especially Travis Kelce, and they were taken out. And back to what Driz said, I mean, Patrick Mahomes, it starts with him. Getting the ball going, his line was not helping him. And there was a flaw in that line.
Well, and like you're saying with the coordinators, I don't think Nagy was helping him by pass. Like your first quarter, even if you're down 10-0, like run the ball. Establish
Yeah,
a run, take
Pacheco-
some pressure.
yeah, Pacheco
Obviously,
or Hunt.
Mahomes is feeling a lot of pressure. Take some of that off by giving the running backs a chance to create something.
Moving on over to the Philly side, first half. Start off with you, Chris. What did you see going on there?
Offensively, what I expected. I mean, Chris Jones was kind of dominating. They weren't getting a lot of push up the middle. Saquon was having a bad run, but defensively, they took over the game defensively.
Okay. But offensively, Brett, we're staying focused on them. What did you see going on first half offensively?
Offensively, they couldn't establish the run. For anything. Saquon getting shut down every other opportunity he got, but they figured out, okay, we need to make an adjustment here. Because I figured KC figured if they could shut Saquon down, Jalen's going to have to go with a throw, go blow for blow with Patrick Mahomes, and they weren't expecting, all those good throws that Jalen Hurts was making.
Yeah, I have to give my apologies. Last week I said they ain't gonna pass the ball.
Okay.
They can't pass the ball.
Let's go ahead and pause that real quick. Okay. Go ahead. Repeat that one more time.
Oh yeah, I have to apologize to the Eagles fans, the Eagles organization.
Can you
Jalen
amplify
Hurts.
that? The mics, can we amplify that?
Jalen Hurts, I wasn't familiar with how well you can still pass the ball. Like, I'm a big fan of Hurts. I just didn't think he'd be able to get it
Where'd you go
done.
to college at?
Oh, OU?
First?
No.
No. We have to.
He went to OU.
I
He's a
need-
boomer.
I need a
He's
facts
a Sooner.
first.
Boomer Sooner.
Okay.
He
man.
won his Heisman at OU, didn't he?
Yes.
But where did he go prior when he won the championship? What's that school called?
Oh, he did win a championship there.
And where, Brett? Where's that school called? Roll Tide.
Yeah, Bama.
Alabama. I saw Alabama.
High Tide.
Because I was sitting there, wait a minute, didn't he go to Bama? but yeah, that's
No.
right.
Everybody thinks he went to Bama, but he went to OU. I don't know why they get that misconception. Anyway, listen, Hurts had an extraordinary first half over through the air. Clearly, AJ Brown was making RDBs look. And of course it's AJ Brown, but he was making McDuffie, who is an All-Pro this year, second team All-Pro. He was making him look like worthless.
Just a child.
Like
He's playing
AJ
against a
Brown
kid.
really, and I knew AJ Brown was good, but I didn't realize him and Hurts had this crazy connection, and so their pass game really exploded, and that just continued.
And something that, and I want to give credit to Don on this, offensively, Driz. Dallas Goedert had an amazing catch.
He did.
Even though he was still an unsung hero, but the ones that really did it for them was the offensive line.
Yeah.
That offensive line,
They're the best
they
in the
were
league.
just literally making sure Chris Jones, making sure that Warden wasn't getting really caught up. And I'm not going to steal Driz's thunder because he nailed it. He nailed it. I cannot elaborate more than what that is. You had Devontae Smith and you had AJ Brown torching those corners. It was just ridiculous. So now let's go ahead and move on over to halftime show. Driz, I'm gonna kick it off with you. How'd you feel about the performance?
I enjoyed it. No, it wasn't as flashy. It was more, he was just trying to convey a message clearly about America. You could tell. But I'm a Kendrick fan. I enjoyed the music. I enjoyed the halftime show.
I'm a fan of SZA. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, me too.
I said it first.
Yeah, I totally enjoyed the halftime show, and you could tell, you know, all the shots he was taking at Drake with the big lowercase a chain. I was like, oh Lord, Drake about to sue everybody. Everybody might even sue all of us for watching the game.
I'm gonna file Chapter 13, Drake. You got nothing on me.
Lawsuit has begun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I was at a party, so I didn't get to hear it very well. I'd like to go back and listen because I know that he did a bunch of deep tracks, kind of. He didn't do. He barely even touched on the "Not Like Us" song.
There was a couple times he was hinting at it. You hear the beat, but he never sang it. He was like, "Oh yeah, it's coming, guys."
That's what she said.
Yeah, and so I thought that was really cool for him to do. I know that it's weird because usually so often, and it's kind of changed the last 4 or 5 years. Like it was always classics that you'd see at like, oh yeah, these guys have 3 greatest hits albums. They'll play a few songs from each one or something. And now here the last few years, we've seen a lot more current artists, which is a harder base to hit everybody that's watching the Super Bowl. I think I saw a lot of negative stuff about Kendrick Lamar, about his halftime show, how they didn't like it, but I think that's people that just don't like his or know his music well enough to like it probably. I thought it was good. The little bits that I kind of could hear in the background. Again, I'd like to go listen to it a lot closer. I think he even changed some of the verses of the songs that he sang to be more timely for what he was speaking about. And so I really I like that kind of music. I'm a big fan of anti-establishment stuff that's going against the anti-culture stuff. So I like that kind of stuff. I'd like to hear more in depth of what he was saying there. I thought it was okay. I know there was a lot of hate around it, and I mean, haters gonna hate. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, exactly.
Poor Taylor Swift getting booed, right?
That is totally inappropriate.
Here's the thing: the halftime show, the choreography. I mean, it's nice. It's up to beat, new age. I get it. And to watch Serena Williams get her little appearance, that was pretty unique. And then seeing Mustard as well, that beat producer guy, that was kind of cool. Samuel Jackson, I loved it.
I like Sam.
Yeah, that's right.
He did not say the MF. I was expecting him to say the MF. Boy, I wouldn't know
he didn't want to get some FCC.
NFL and Fox would have banned him forever.
I would say he didn't want to go Janet Jackson way.
No, Janet Jackson. But indeed, and then the Super Bowl commercials. I mean, I'm excited for the Thunderbolts. I'm excited for Fantastic Four. There was quite a bit of funny. There was some that I didn't care for some of the commercials, but some were pretty funny. I got to give them that.
Yeah, the one with Seal kind of freaked me out.
The Seal, that one was funny. Okay, well now we're moving on to the second half. All right, Driz, I'm gonna kick it off with you. Starting off with your Chiefs. Okay, so how did you feel the second half? How did it? Offensively and defensively?
So the exact same in my opinion. Like not much changed. Of course we scored points, but it was more garbage time points, what they call it. It was whenever the points really didn't matter at that point. The yards didn't matter. The game was already done. And that's where we got our points and yards from. So it doesn't look as bad on paper, but realistically, we didn't start I don't know if y'all have seen this, if y'all been on Twitter. Like Patrick Mahomes is his tape doesn't start till we're down 34-0.
Right.
That's ridiculous. You can't start to finally decide to play a good game whenever you're down by that many points. So it was the same. This is what I stand by through watching this game, man. It was, in my opinion, offensively, we just did not perform how we needed to. Defensively, I thought we did great. I thought we did what we needed to do because obviously that's a great team. They're going to score points. They're going to get whatever they need to do done. But offensively, it was a super poor performance and just terrible.
Boy. Okay, how can I explain it? Man, that front four was just. I mean, they were just straight up just torturing Patrick Mahomes, man. They had anytime he even got the ball, they within seconds, they were on him. They were like sharks in the water that smell blood. Every time
there'd be blood in the water.
Yeah, every time, and then every time he either even. They had were able to cover all their they couldn't Hollywood Brown couldn't haul in no catches. Travis couldn't haul in no catch.
Did you see that demoralizing point? And I like Chris Jones. I think he's a phenomenal defensive player.
When he fell on his face.
Yes, when DeAndre Hopkins missed that catch, I knew right then and there. I was like, they lost the morale. Something. It's just like it got sucked out. Yeah. And I remember.
Finish him.
Oh, hold on, Don. We're gonna get you in just a second. I know you've been waiting for this moment, but here's the thing: it brings back nostalgia here. Remember when Denver lost that Super Bowl to Seattle?
Sure.
When it was hyped, when Ramirez hyped it, and we lost right there.
Like,
that was our moment.
Big. That was a blowout.
It was over. Mm-hmm. It was over. And I feel right there. I think Chris Jones and the gang. And I can't speak on their behalf. But I feel that was the moment they're like, we're not going to win this.
He can call in, or he can, call in and.
Oh, you're more welcome, Chris Jones. I got nothing but love and respect for you, man. You just give us a call.
Yes, please don't hurt us.
No, please don't.
I thought I actually wound up turning it off after the third quarter when they scored with 30 seconds left for the first time. Going into the third quarter, I was like, hey, KC, they can put up points in a flash. This game's not over. They can pull Patriots and come back in the second half, but they got to make some changes. Like, we got to see it out of the gate. And first series, 3 and out. Okay. I think the next one they wound up throwing fumbling or something. And it was just like, no. By the time they scored that, it's like, oh, Philly's just trying to run the clock. Like, let them keep the ball in bounds, let it keep ticking, and you just see that it's over by that point. I didn't see any changes from the coordinators. They seemed to just try to do the same game plan, which obviously wasn't working in the first half. So.
And for the man of the hour, Don, could you tell us a little bit about the second half? Oh boy, here we go.
It was terrible. They were doing everything in their power. They had that man running around like a stepchild. I mean, it looked like you said from that Seattle Super Bowl in Denver. It was a defensive clinic. And I said this before, with the offensive and defensive line of Philly, man, they're going to make it tough on the Chiefs. I expect a little more out of the Chiefs, scoring-wise, and putting up a better defensive, battle. But, like you said, they were demoralized, and you could just tell it in Patrick's face. He's like, man, this is over, man. I'm in that drop ball from D-Hop. I'm like, dude, you're supposed to be catching everything wide open. I even caught a play with Travis Kelce. He was just like, throwing his hands in the air, just kind of just looking there, not even trying to get open and get the ball, even though Mahomes is running for his life. But
not at one time, Don, I'm going to say it was Patrick Mahomes. And I know he's a man of character saying, oh, it's on me, it's my fault. I'm not going to jump on that because I feel that Mahomes, like Tristan said, everything was set for him to do what he needed to do. On paper, you have a two-headed running back monsters in Kareem Hunt and Pacheco. Mm-hmm. How are you going to sit there and tell me you guys forgot to run the ball?
Yeah.
And then you got a dual tight end system in Kelce and they irrelevant. Yeah. And then on top of that, the wide receiving core. That interception, not the one that Cooper got for the touchdown. Who was the other one that got it? It was the other
Bond, the linebacker.
Yeah, the linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
If you go and watch that film, he eyed Mahomes. Mahomes, his eyes were giving away the whole time. That's where it goes to show Vic Fangio finally put it together. Because remember, this is a guy that's saying, oh, he's such a... And I owe him an apology because I was like, he coached Denver, didn't do really nothing for us. He coached over there in Miami for a little bit, didn't do much. And then for him to go to Philly, I'm like, what's he going to do? He ain't going to do nothing. I was wrong. So I owe the Philly fans, I owe him an apology. Now we're going to go into the archives and we're going to talk about those times what Tristan was talking about. We have a special for that for everybody. So Driz, you got to show some love. So we'll have your minutes of fame there. But going forward here, for now that it's all said and done, Jalen Hurts wins the MVP. I'm going to kick it off with you, Brett. Now the main question is going to be, do we see another rematch next year, or are we going to see a different team?
Okay, I'm putting it like this. With the Chiefs, I don't know. No, I don't know if I will be talking about seeing them in the Super Bowl next year. I really don't. I mean, there's lots of things they got to work on. Philly, however, I could, but the NFC East in itself is going to be a little tough, and we don't know for certain. I mean, but if they can bring this what they was bringing all year, all next year, then there's no doubt we will see Philly again. But with Kellen Moore taking that job over at in New Orleans, we may not know what the future is going to hold.
In my opinion, it's too early to tell. One thing I can confidently say, we'll be back. Whether it's next year, the year after that, whatever, we're going to be back. We're always back. Luckily we're in a position where we can make it back. The Eagles, in my opinion, are in a better position. They got all their players, and they're not really losing anybody. We're going to have to do a lot of negotiating and figuring out who we're going to get in the draft this offseason, because we've got a lot of free agents, a lot of key players that are either going to leave or we're going to have to sign to big contracts. This offseason is super important for us Chiefs fans.
Okay, so let's block that real quick, Driz. In your opinion, who do you feel, if you had to guess, who's going to be gone? Now, give me your just opinion on who you think should be gone, and who do you think, if you had to put your money on it, they will be gone.
Oh, listen to this hot take. I think we should talk to Kelsey. Past 2 years, Kelsey has not been productive. He had one good game this year. That was against the Texans this postseason. He just hasn't been productive. Like I know you brought up, he has that veteran status. He's a leader, and how much that could hurt our team. But at the same time, that losing him, we could save $17 million in cap space. We can, he hasn't been productive. I feel like at this point, he's kind of at the end of his career. I'm sure you can pull up. The Super Bowl was not his best game. He was lollygagging. He missed key blocks that cost Mahomes. Give him another year, see how it turns out. We'll see what happens. I feel like he's at the end of his career. He's at the end of his tenure. We may lose some key, maybe like Nick Bolton. I know he's towards the end of his contract. It really depends. What do we need? What are we willing to spend on these players? Because we don't got a lot of money to spend. So it's going to be important, man. It's going to be very important for us.
Yeah, he said it right there. Just, they got a lot of people, thinking about who they're going to keep, who they're going to let go. A lot of contracts expired. And right now, looking at teams that, I don't see a repeat, next season as far as, the two teams. Because you got to remember, Detroit's going to be coming back in. If they stay healthy, they are going to be the team in the NFC that's going to be in there. And then as far as anybody else in the NFC right now, besides Philly, and the Lions, maybe Washington, it's just hard to say. And then the NFC West, I'm sure, I really don't know about that one. It's just up in the air. The Rams might be there, but I don't know if they can do enough to make a deep run. And in the AFC, the teams right now that are strongest, is going to be either Buffalo or Baltimore. Maybe even Cincinnati if they get a defense. But that just depends.
You read my mind, Don. Dang, you read my mind. Okay, so I'm gonna split this up. Let's just say I give Chiefs the benefit of the doubt. Let's say they do go back. Okay, but it won't be Philly. Let's say Philly goes back. Kansas City won't be in. Right now, if I really had to really dive in, Kansas City has been exposed. Finally.
Yeah.
And not in a bad way. I'm not talking bad about them. What I'm saying is they've been exposed now to where finally the people that have struggled against, especially in the conference, they say, hey, this is what we need. See, we forget. We got Myles Garrett that's going testing free agency. Mm-hmm. Please believe whoever's going to require his services, they're going to say, hey, we get him in, that's going to boost us, because it goes back to what I told you guys before. During the Denver Bronco era when Mike Shanahan was coaching, he was trying to build a team to beat Peyton Manning and Tom Brady.
Right.
We were able to beat Tom Brady in a playoff, but lost to Pittsburgh. Going forward, it's like I said before, it's Mahomes. You have to go. Mahomes is the cream of the crop. That's who you need to go through, especially in the AFC. You want to do something, you got to go through him. So, early to tell right now. You could say Baltimore, you could say Buffalo, but the problem is these teams, they can never figure it out when it comes to playoffs. They're always missing something. And right now with Baltimore, let's say Baltimore would have been in the Super Bowl. Let's just say it wasn't the Chiefs, it was Baltimore. Just throwing it out there. Or Buffalo. Do you think they would have beaten Philly, Don?
I think the matchups with those two teams would have been differently. It's just that the Philly caught Kansas City at just the right moment with that offensive line. They couldn't do nothing against that defensive front.
I think Buffalo could have, if you want to be honest. Because the thing with the Chiefs is we've been playing like this all season. This is something that's been relevant. You know, we've seen our offensive struggle. It's been entirely our defense who's really held us up this year. So just purely based on that fact, I do think Buffalo would have gave any Eagles run for their money, if not beat them this year. I really do.
Do you think that they have a chance to go in to a Super Bowl? If not next year, but like sometime?
They have a chance, yeah. But, I mean, it's going to be hard with Mahomes back there. Listen, and I will say one thing. Everybody thinks this is our year to go down. Oh, the Chiefs aren't the same. This is our time to shine. That's what they said when we lost Tyreek and we were going through and we lost Snead and we lost all these players. We'll be back, guys. Y'all stop doubting us, okay?
Better address that offensive line.
We did against Tampa Bay.
And speaking of offensive lines, the battle in football is usually won in the trenches, and that game showed. So, if the Chiefs were to bolster up, they got to bolster up that O line because, and especially, what was it, Antoine? I forget his last name. Yeah, I'm okay, but never mind that because he's the most penalized line.
Juwan Taylor.
Yeah. He always getting penalized for he's the most penalized lineman in the league.
Yep.
So if they can somehow, I feel they could be back. But if they could bolster up their line, win in the trenches. Because like I said, all Philly had to do all game was just rush their front four. They didn't.
It's just astonishing that they didn't blitz.
Yeah,
it was
they
just
didn't have
a
to.
4-man front.
Yeah.
Get them. And especially the unsung hero too is just the secondary. Slay, Garner Johnson, everybody did their part, and it's like what Driz said. That's just crazy the way they locked up. They couldn't, and finally at the end when DeAndre, I was like, this is not right. We got. Juju's not a fast runner, but he's got height. You got DeAndre Hopkins, veteran, and you also have Xavier Worthy, which he got his 2 touchdowns. That's cool. Yeah. But it's just weird to see that happen. But the referees, before we're closing this up. The referees. How did you feel about the referees this year?
Yeah, there were a couple of calls in the beginning, but it was on both sides. But then after that, they pretty much let them play.
No, it was fine. We didn't lose because of the refs, I'll tell you that much.
Did you guys pay your bill?
Hey, we never have a bill to pay.
Hey,
get that talk out of here, guys. I ain't gonna stand
you seen what D-Hop said.
Yeah, he was mad because, listen, y'all can't sit here and blame everything. Oh, it's rigged. The refs are on their payroll. And then they're making controversial calls against us, too, like that. He was just like, what y'all got to say now? That's all he was saying. Is like, y'all really saying that the refs were in our pocket? Look at this game. That's
Here's
all
the
he was
thing,
saying.
And I'm glad the calls. There was a lot of calls, and I'm not being, not choosing a side, but let's just, facts are facts. The Chiefs held quite a bit on a couple plays.
Yeah, they did.
And it was visible, and I was counting, that touchdown to Xavier Worthy, the first one. You saw that player, the Eagles player, like, hey, he's holding me. But that interception, dude, Philly hit Patrick Mahomes right in the face.
Yeah, he did.
That should have been a flag.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the refs really didn't play much.
They let them play football.
And Philly just straight dominated.
And then Chiefs, for the most part, playing undisciplined football.
Yeah,
that's why they got them caught.
What's up with all the offsides they had? I'm like,
all
you gotta do is see where the ball is. Line up.
Yeah, because you know better. You pulling a D forward. You know better.
Okay. But last but not least here, just a summary for the season itself. What we'll do is after this game here, the next time up for the NFL, we're gonna talk about is when we do the draft. We're also going to show some love to the UFL too. We got to show a little love. Man, let's get them going a little bit. Just try.
Haven't watched any,
but just to summarize your team for the season, Driz, in a short few words, for all the Chiefs Kingdom and everybody there. What could you say?
Fell short in the big game. I mean, this is luckily as a Chiefs fan, this is what we expect now: AFC Championship or Super Bowl, nothing less. This was, to most teams, making it to the playoffs is a successful season. So to us, losing the Super Bowl was a bad season. Crazy that this is a bad season to us. And I just think that goes to show how good us Chiefs fans have it, that this was a bad season. The fact that we didn't win the last game of the year. The fact that we made it this far is great. We had a good season overall. Great. We just had one bad game, and unfortunately it was the Super Bowl. So.
Yeah, what to expect? I did well. Okay, Philly. I kind of expected it. For Philly to do what they was gonna do, maybe a little bit. But there was those games where I was like looking at like all right, like y'all. I was like y'all playing or y'all just or y'all just not just messing around. And then, but with the Chiefs. Oh, sorry, technical difficulties.
Okay, I'm just going to say is that for both sides, Philly, I didn't have Philly going all the way. I mean, I had them in the NFC Championship, so I got that part right. Mm-hmm. I thought Detroit was going to do it, but Detroit now, this is next year, if they can stay healthy, because right now, that NFC North is just going to get better, and especially now that the Bears are just going to learn from what they did. Now they've got a coach that's going to help them get better offensively. I'm not saying he's the savior, but Chicago's going to be a fun team to watch. And now with Kellen Moore taking the job in New Orleans, now he's going to have to deal with, okay, I got all these players that are either washed up, some that kind of seeing their way out. They're going to have to start young. Kellen Moore, if he can find someone in the draft, kind of get him in the groom, get him ready, give him a year or two to kind of get things going. I'm not saying go make it to the NFC Championship, but at least be competitive in the NFC South. Kansas City, Tristan just nailed it to the dot, and man, it was perfectly done. There's no flaws in what he just said. The standard is there now. Kansas City's not impressed no more with the division. They're not impressed no more going to the playoffs. It's like Super Bowl, AFC Championship, or going to the Super Bowl. That's the standard now. And now these teams, because right now Baltimore got a taste of it, they fell short. Cincinnati and New England in the Mahomes era is the only teams to beat them in a championship. So Burrow knows how to get there. He knows how to do it. So now it's just a matter of, okay, guy, with all the contracts that you're going to have to deal with, who's going to be? Buffalo keeps falling short, but they're still a fun team to watch.
Yes, they are.
So it's just like, and then now with the AFC West, you have now the Raiders now getting a quality coach. Now we're not going to sit there and say, oh yeah, they got it all figured out, but hey, it's a start. The Broncos, I feel they're up and coming. I'm not going to put them on a pedestal, but giving them a little bit more help. I mean, we need to address a little bit more like weapons, like more wide receiver focus. We need a true running back. We need a solid tight end. Yeah, but defensively, we're not bad. I mean, would it be great if we got Myles Garrett? Yeah, but I'd rather use that money offensively, because to beat Kansas City, you got to go toe-to-toe, and it's all about putting points up.
But to add this on, I feel, what was it? Bo Nix could have won Rookie of the Year if it wasn't for Jaden Daniels, though.
Oh, Jaden Daniels would have won it by far. He deserves it.
I know.
Well, you guys, that wraps it up. So we're not going to talk no more football until the draft. But in the meantime, don't forget, you guys, we also have Mamba Sports. We're going to talk about the NBA, the NCAA tournament. We're also going to still talk about the NBA as well. And so, but in the meantime, our boy here, Driz, is going to shift over. You'll hear from him once in a while on the Silver Cosmo movie reviews. So, Driz, what a great year. I'm not going to make fun of you. You're my boy. No, sorry. No, I can't be that guy. But no, Driz, hands down, since, like I said, and I'm going to put it out there, so everybody in the Sportsfellas Nation from Wichita to Kansas and all who hear us, I thank all of you guys all of you guys who listen. Driz, since I've known you, you're a man of your word. You've said it since I first met you. And since then, since I've gotten to know you, Kansas City has been like a plague to me, man. Like I said,
Yep.
I've said it for a long time. I was there at Arrowhead when tickets were cheap. I was there when Marshawn Lynch ran the most yards on you ever against an opposing player at Arrowhead. I used to just make fun of you guys. I've said this before, but since then, I mean, your team has turned around, you know, thanks to from the Hunt family going all the way down. When you guys got Andy Reid, it was the start of a dynasty. You guys are still going to be one of the best teams in this area. You guys are a dynasty. I still believe that whole, don't call Mahomes a GOAT. Get out of here. He's going to be one of the best players of all time because the guy still young, already has 3 rings. Burrow don't have any. Lamar don't have any. Josh Allen doesn't have any. And then the ones that are legends, they've only got like one or two. Right. Mahomes at that age where he's, I mean, I'm not going to bet on him surpassing Brady, but let's just say you're in your own category. The Chiefs are just going to be the team that whoever's going to go to the Super Bowl, you got to go through Mahomes. So, Driz, I'm telling you up front, from a Bronco fan to a Chiefs fan, you guys are always going to be that rivalry, and it's just going to keep continuing. So, that's my shout out on that. Don, any shouts before we go?
Hey, shout out to all the fans that listen and dealt with us. We enjoyed y'all listening to us. Hey, Raider Nation, we'll be back next year, and we'll do better things.
Shout out to Chiefs Nation, man. Listen, all the haters are going to finally come out of their shells and talk the talk because we lost. That's okay. We'll suck it up, take it for the offseason, and come back next year.
All right, shout out to everyone listening, especially to all my Commander fans. Yeah, unfortunately, NFC title game came up short, but we wasn't supposed to make it this far. We surpassed everything that we were supposed to. Next year, it's gonna be even bigger. It's gonna be even better. So keep your heads up, and also hi, Mom and Dad.
Man, you guys, oh man, I can't believe it's not goodbye, but for the NFL season,
It's later on.
It's just, you know, we're gonna, like an eagle, we're gonna fly like an eagle.
Oh.
We're gonna soar away. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna fly. I had to do that, Driz. I'm sorry. There was no other analogy. But I'll tell you guys this. Thank you guys. It means a lot to me that we can all get together and talk football. And like I said, you know, I'll still see you guys because we're friends here. But to the listeners out there, if the ones that don't follow any other sports, we'll look forward to hearing from you guys soon. But hey, if it's after football's gone, we still got our advice. We still have Silver Cause movie reviews. We also have Cutting Crew coming up real soon. So until then, we're out.